Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Stephanie, and I'll be presenting you today with a few pointers on employee performance. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, leave us a comment, and we have a quick Q&A on the end of the webinar, but we'll try to get to the questions during as well. So, today's webinar on employee performance is important to me because over the past few years it's become very how do I say that? Very obvious for big corporations to have employees as numbers. They forget the human factor in it. And for small business owners, employees, it is a little more personal, but if there is an issue with the performance, it's easier to simply replace the employee than to see what's going on, why there's problems, and it's easily brushed off as the employee just doesn't know what he's doing. So that's not always the case, and sometimes it's actually simpler to find a correction for the issues. Now, when you notice a employee is struggling, it's easy to say, oh, okay, he doesn't know what he's doing, but before you jump to that conclusion, are you sure you gave him the expectations of what you're looking for them to do? Has the training been provided? Is all the tools and resources available? It is sometimes when you look at a employee that may have learned something a certain way in a previous job and they're continuing on with that same way of having it done before, saying, I'm good, I don't need anything, you may find that whatever they did before does need to be adjusted and revisited. Now, when you do answer any or one of the questions with no, your expectations weren't clear, the employee hasn't been trained appropriately, or there may be a resource that the employee doesn't know about, then you may have to revisit that. Now, you do that by redefining the goal, retraining, or simply sharing those necessary tools and resources. One instance is, for example, you may have hired someone to replace a departing employee. And you have a 1-week overlap where those two are training with each other. You believe you have, or the departing employee has given all the information to the new one and just let him run with it. So when you see that employee is struggling and it just doesn't seem to kick in, you may want to say, hey, watch them, ask questions, tell them, this is how we usually do it. Have you been given that information? Ask questions to specific tasks that you knew were previously done that haven't been done in the past month, because that employee may simply just not know. So just by sitting down with them and revisiting what they need to learn will already eliminate the struggles the employee may have. So when there is a time where you may say, I have given it my all, I have trained them, retrained them, goals are clear, then there may be a situation where you have to have a one-on-one conversation, and this is a great way to find out if your employee may disagree with what you've provided. The expectations from the employee side may be different. There may be additional questions, and it's easily rectified by just talking. So when that happens, you may want to do a performance improvement plan. Now, it's easily taken as a negative, and in large corporations, I wouldn't want to get one in a large corporation, but if you do it right, it actually can be a benefit to both sides. One important fact is involve the employee. Have that conversation with them. Have them create the plan with you, so both sides know what's going on, know what's expected of either side, and always make sure that you are being objective, factual, and specific. So nobody can take anything personal, because this is not supposed to be a personal attack on the employee. This is supposed to help them get their goals and achieve the company's goals. So with the performance improvement plan, you share with them what the actual performance is they have, what the expectations is from the business side, and come up with a plan of action how to correct it. In some cases, it may require to put in some consequences. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a negative consequence. So, goals put in writing can be adjusted. If you leave deadlines and say, you know, I really have this project that needs to be done by May 1st, and another project comes in that is of higher importance that just pushes out the timeline for 2 weeks, you can't hold anyone to their original goal and just make adjustments as necessary. Now, you have reviews, which helps employees with a positive feedback. It doesn't have to be necessarily an improvement plan. When you give employees regular reviews of the work that they have put in for you, it helps keeping them motivated and engaged. They know where they stand. They enjoy coming to work. They know they're doing something right. Now, for those that are struggling and need an improvement plan, it is important to add positive remarks in that. The performance improvement plan should have the goal of bringing up the engagement and the motivation of the employee, not to bring it down. Now, you hired them for a reason. So you got to keep in mind, you want to engage your employees, you want to grow your business, and if you skip one of those steps, you skip the conversation and you just say, hey, here's your improvement plan, I don't like the way you work, you're not getting XYZ done, that will simply have the effect of an unhappy employment that is likely to look for a new job. So always remember, keep an open line of communication, and not just at the end of the year. You got to keep this open line of communication throughout the year. Employees like feedback. They like to hear positive. Negative happens too. We all make mistakes, and this is where the human factor comes in. And I understand for small businesses it is hard to keep up with that. You may have 10 employees. You may have 1 or 2 that could improve. Sit down with them. If you need our assistance, we're always here for you. If you have additional questions on employee performance in general, or what options you have based on your business, you can give us a call anytime. And that's all I have for today for employee performance. If you have, like I said, any questions, concerns, would like some more details, would like to sit down, you can give us a call. The Q&A is now open, so if we have any questions yet. So we'll be here for another few minutes. We'll put up our phone number and email address. You can visit us on the web. Find out some more information. We're waiting. Yeah, while we're waiting, now if you're an employee listening and you're working in a large corporation and you feel you've been getting that, keep in mind there is an HR department that is there for you and the business. So if you have any concerns, they don't bite. You have advocates, you know, and if you may not get the conversation from your managers, see if you can start a conversation with them. It is a two-way process. So, you know, always two sides to a coin. All right, so it looks like we don't have any questions. If you're watching this later and you have any questions regarding this, like I said, call. You can always leave a comment on the Facebook page, and we will revisit it later and send you our response. You all have a good day, and we'll see you next week on Wednesday with my Tilly on most likely 2018-2017 tax season.